Hi, it's Dr. Denny over at Four Paws at Full Sure Veterinary Clinic, and Maddie and I are going to chat a little bit today about everything you need to know about cat deworming.
Dr. Denny, what are intestinal parasites?
So they're exactly what they say they are. They are infectious organisms that feed off of us from the inside. Like, have you ever seen that TV show, The Monster Inside of Me? That's kind of what we're talking about, is intestinal parasites. So we can have roundworms, tapeworms, whipworms, lots of worms. There's also some protozoa, infectious parasites that we can get as well in cats. So a lot of things to cover here.
How do intestinal parasites impact the health and well-being of your cat?
So they're stealing nutrients, okay? Whether or not they're blood sucking like whipworms or hookworms, or that they're nutrient stealing like roundworms, they're taking nutrients away from the pet. And if we lose enough blood, we become anemic, right? That's a problem. If we lose enough nutrients, then we could start to lose weight. So, it impacts the health of the pet a lot. And then we can also see chronic GI symptoms like vomiting or diarrhea.
What preventative measures can be taken to ensure that my cat doesn't get worms or other parasites?
So deworming is a really good preventative measure, okay? Also making sure to regularly clean litter boxes. If you do have an indoor-outdoor cat, it's super important to be, making sure we're on top of prevention. I also really recommend it for indoor cat only. But like topicals are usually what we're going to use. We carry Bravecto here, Bravecto Plus for cats. It's a topical. And it lasts for 2 months. It also does prevent against heartworms. There's also a topical dewormer called Profender that we'll use kind of if needed. So if a cat is having chronic gastrointestinal symptoms like diarrhea, oftentimes I will prophylactically deworm to make sure we're covering all of our bases.
What are some signs and symptoms of intestinal parasites in a cat?
So I think that's a really great question, right? Because this is what's going to bring you into me when we're going to have this talk. So the main ones are going to be vomiting and diarrhea. And then in some instances, you'll actually, like in tapeworms or roundworms, you might actually see the worms in the vomitus or in the stool.
How will a veterinarian diagnose intestinal parasites in a cat?
So if they gift us with a stool sample where the tapeworm is sitting right on top of it, boom, diagnosis. There we go, tapeworms. Let's treat for them. But often it's gonna involve testing a stool sample and looking for the eggs of the parasite.
What are some possible conditions caused by intestinal parasites, and what are the treatments?
So we covered this a little bit. So we can see anemia because of our blood-sucking parasites. We can see weight loss and vomiting from our nutrient eating or sucking parasites like tapeworms or roundworms. So weight loss, vomiting, diarrhea, anemia are probably going to be your biggest ones. Sometimes we'll have like an ill-thrift coat. So if like your cat is on a well-balanced diet and yet, the coat is still like kind of yucky and maybe not smooth and silky and shiny, that could be because nutrients are being stolen. And then what we're going to do about it is we're going to test for intestinal parasites. And sometimes even if I don't see them, I will prophylactically deworm, because just because you check one stool sample, that's one sampling at one time. And these intestinal parasites don't continuously shed eggs. So we may have gotten a sample that just didn't have any eggs in it. So we usually talk about prophylactic deworming.
Why is early detection and diagnosis of intestinal parasites so important?
Well, let's think about that, right? Let's talk about what could happen. So if we have nutrient sucking parasites, your cat's gonna lose weight. Your cat's gonna have, not a good immune system. Your cat's gonna have possible GI, gastrointestinal symptoms. If it's a blood sucking parasite, your cat's gonna develop anemia. What happens when we're anemic? We don't have enough red blood cells to carry oxygen to the rest of the body. It really is very impactful. Anemia is a very serious disease.
When should my cat see a veterinarian for deworming?
So if your cat is showing any of the symptoms that we've already talked about, vomiting, diarrhea, ill-thrift coat, or if you're actively seeing worms in the stool, like this is a good time to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and make an appointment. Especially when they're kittens. Kittens come with all kinds of friends on the inside, and sometimes those friends aren't the nicest and they need an eviction notice, and that's my job. So I hope this helped you guys understand a lot about cat deworming. If you do think that your cat has intestinal parasites, please make an appointment and we can go ahead and get that taken care of. Thank you.